Just as we all come in. Hello, everybody. This is Sally Griffin, aka Millionaire Yogi, and I help visionaries become new Earth influencers. And so we've been on the year of 13 moons, and people are coming in, and we're on the 12th moon. I can't even believe that's happened. With this strange year we've had, it's been one which has in some ways slowed everything down, have you found? And then suddenly we're here almost at the end of the year and I can't even believe we're here. It's like kind of crazy, the timing. So as people come in, I just want to check in with you all. Where are you guys? So you can unmute and say it, or you can put it in the chat. Be interesting to see where everybody is. Some brave ones. Tell me where you actually are in the world. Nobody's brave. Come on. I'm in London. So we've got Sweden, Pulborough, West Sussex, England. Do you know, all of a sudden I'm having all these connections with Sweden. It's just saying. It's so interesting. New Orleans, woo, that's exciting. That's a place I really want to go to. Atlanta, the Netherlands. Yeah, wonderful. It's so nice to see you all. And I wonder how, Seattle, great. I wonder how all of you are feeling at the end of this year. I mean, maybe you could sum it up in a word. No, that's quite hard. But you know, we are about to come out of lockdown in Britain, and I cannot tell you, but I can tell you, you get it. It's like, it's just like the idea of having a tea inside, you know, not squatting on the side of the road where I'm just doing these takeaways all the time. I mean, I joked in a post I put, and it was like, the street is the new restaurant, you know, and it is. Like, everybody is just hanging out on the gutters. And now they're putting stickers on different places saying, don't sit here because of COVID. It's just like, oh, come on, give us a break. So today is the moon in Gemini. Julie is feeling discombobulated yet evolving. Very nice. Yeah, hopeful. I like it. I'm feeling very deeply connected at this point. There's been a speeding up over the last, I would say, well, particularly the week. Oh, great. What a ride from Rhode Island. Oh, you love me. I love you all too. Feel the love. You know, this is what's really going on. This is the beginning of new leadership, big time, new Earth. We are going to step into the Aquarian age, literally on the winter solstice. And me being a child of the 60s, literally a baby in the 60s, I thought that was the Aquarian age. I thought we were in it, but we're not in it. It's all been like, you know, rolling us forward to this moment where literally the winter solstice. I'm hosting an event this year, which I will invite you to. And I can send it out to everybody because you're already on this newsletter. So I'll send out details of the event. And what's happening on the winter solstice is, astrologically, it's the end of the Mayan calendar. There's all these endings going on right now astrologically, which are really interesting. Just tons of endings. And maybe you relate to some of that. Oh, we've got Christine coming in from Italy. Isabel's feeling more centered. Well, the series of endings that we're having now is really shutting down, as Kaipacha, my astrological friend, is saying, is the patriarchy, which has been going on for 6,500 years. So we're looking at the end, yay, of patriarchy. And that is the end of the old masculine. rolling out. And then what we're going to have is the divine masculine rolling in, very much walking in path with the divine feminine. And the model to give you, which is actually how it's evolving very much in some of the business work that I'm to do with, is that the women are the ones who are birthing the ideas. The women are the ones who are coming out with all of these great new creations. The men are producing the systems who are pushing them forward. And it's like a total solidarity of divine masculine, divine feminine, but the women have got to step forward. They have to be not forced to step forward, but it's like, because they have been so shut down for thousands of years, there has to be systems to get them forward, to make them come forward, right? And when we look at what's going on in the US election, a Black woman who is the vice president, but who knows what's going to happen with Biden. I mean, something could happen with him, which would just mean that she would become the president. That would be epic, unimaginable, amazing to have a Black woman as a president in history. We in England have never had one of those. We're still waiting. We've had very old masculine women. So they're the women like Margaret Thatcher, who was really, she could have grown a beard and she would have just been a man. She did carry a handbag, but that was about it. You know, that was the only identification as her as feminine. And she was tough. She was tougher than all the men. And she had that horrible, dull British accent, which is la, 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 like that. So there was nothing like exciting about her. So we haven't had any of the new feminine leadership really stepping up fully. And now's the time for all of you guys, if you're working in that capacity. Jane is saying she needs to step forward. Yes, you do. So this event that I'm doing on the winter solstice will have Kai Patches streaming live, doing all the astrology actually of the Aquarian age on that night. It will be free. And so mark it in your diaries. It's called The Longest Night Before the Light. And night is spelled N-Y-G-H-T and light is spelled L-Y-G-H-T. So it's sort of harkening back to the ancient times of the winter solstice. And we'll have it, the live stream of this astrology, all talking about the Aquarian age, will be on December the 20th, which is a Sunday. And then we step into the longest night, which is the 21st of December. And that really is literally the beginning of the Aquarian age. And we can all enjoy it together. It's a free event. It'll be exciting. I'll send you notification about that. And there's tons of speakers. There's about, I was trying to count them today because we're getting ready for the event, but there's at least 40 who are all doing offerings. I did something which is a ritual for the winter solstice, and storytelling about what are some of the most ancient rituals to do with these winter solstice. So there'll be a combination of that, all kind of ritual, mindset shifts, awakenings, new blueprints all coming through, and it's going to be pretty epic, and I'm excited. So the first thing I want to do today, we're dealing with full moon in Gemini, and what I have seen, well, the people, Jimena, hello, darling. You're saying what happens with Aquarian sign on the Aquarian cycle? Well, I've got 6 planets in Aquarius. It just means we were ready for this change, a long time coming. And it means that some of the feelings and the thoughts that you may have had were way ahead of your time, you know. And I've so much noticed that quite often my ideas are ahead of their time. That's Aquarius. It just gives you the ideas, you know, they stream down and then there's not a fit quite on the planet for them. And then suddenly it becomes an opening for them. That's how Aquarius works. Aquarius is very much about high-speed internet. We're dealing with the speed of light today because we're dealing with Gemini, another air sign, who's the brother-sister sign of Aquarius. And they're air in the sense of electric communication. And so in my last week, I've had, I mean, it's been so extraordinary. All the work I've done consistently over time, plodding along, believing in it, you know, using the language of New Earth and all of that. But last week, I had a book deal that happened in 24 hours with the head of a company, the head of the publishing. Extraordinary, like speed of light, like that. The book is called The Little Book of Influence, and it's all about New Earth leadership. And it's all about how you guys can take your ideas, and we don't have time for you to be all like funny about it, or you're not sure about it, or you're still having these issues about, I feel insecure. We don't have time, because we're in a world where this urgency of you taking guardianship of the piece that you want to take guardianship of. I want to take guardianship of New Earth leaders. I want to help them. And so you might have a piece to do with the planet or children or women or sex trafficking or animals of some kind. There is no time. It's like that. And you need to get it. And it's like a responsibility. So for me, when I started getting all the information coming in about New Earth leadership, I took it very seriously, because I do channeling and I get deep messages. I got the title of my book. I didn't come up with it. It arrived, bang, into the space. I got the deal, boom, like this. Somebody wants to do a joint venture with a whole back end system of how I can put on events. And within an hour, we'd said yes. It was like, yes, 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 because that's the speed of it. You got to stop looking at distrust. You've got to step into the trust and start to say yes to things and put yourself out there. And then there was a third thing which happened, which is all to do with going into partnership with Awoken TV as well. Again, a woman who I adore, Laura Carreo, but we just ended up being sisters talking about a great vision, and then it's now coming into being. So the more that you think it, speak it into being, it will just arrive fast now. And we can't then, when the universe gives you your ideas and says, okay, you wanted that, here we go, for you to go, oh God, I'm not sure, I feel a little, not ready, or whatever those things are. And that, like in the 1920s films where women faint when it gets too much. No, you haven't got time for that. So it's like, I'm going to pull a card for the group today. Use these cards that I really like. They're called the Moon Oracle. Seems fitting as I look out, and we will see the moon soon, because of course we are at sunset in England now, sunset, and it really doesn't change much. And then all of a sudden, after the winter solstice, you see increments of light coming back. But right now it's like, wow, 4:15 and it's pretty dark out there. So everybody just take a breath, shut your eyes for a moment. And we are going to do a group consciousness, choosing the card which is relevant for the information that we want to receive now. Okay. Ah, wonderful. So here we are. This is the symbol, and the word is adaptability. Couldn't be more relevant right now. Adaptability. So I'm going to read you a little bit about that. It's actually a waxing air moon. And we know that we've got, so this is a waxing moon because it's not quite, well, actually, no, it was full this morning, wasn't it? But this would be, the wax is the increase, and the air is, there will be actually specifically to do with Gemini. So let's just have a look at this. First quarter waxing air. So when the moon moves into the first quarter in air, 90 degrees from the sun, it's time for obtaining reactions to your idea from as many people as possible. So whatever your idea is, it's time for you to obtain reactions from as many people as possible to your idea and adjusting the concept accordingly. This is the time to modify and adapt your idea so that it appeals to the widest conceivable audience. So think broad. When this card is in the current moon table, we've got it with Moon and Gemini. This is much movement. So I've noticed so much movement in the last week coming up to this moon, both physical and mental. And during this time, you'll probably be involved in a business trip or two, or business connections in the process of developing an original idea. So very businessy. You can use it also with communication of any kind, because Gemini is Mercury, mercurial. And, you know, it's the wit, the eloquence, the champion of language. So you can get your words out, your expressions out very easily at this time. And it would be a great time. So you think about air, it's to do with singing, music, sound baths, speech, intoning, mantra, spellcraft. So you can use any of those. And when you think about spellcraft, you know, which is very much to do with witchcraft, or the craft of the wise, or the craft of spells, you would spell the words that you wanted to create and craft them. And that was like a mantra that you would put out there. So the simplest version of that is, you know, positive affirmations. But the more complicated root of that is actually, it was like casting a spell with your words, causing a shift in the energies of air with your words or with your vibration. And then you also are very attuned to breath and breathing and breath work and being in nature and allowing yourself to experience that spaciousness of air. Air is the element which it's the most volatile in some ways, because you can't see it, but it's all around us. And then you'll feel it if you lack it. If you're lacking air and you're not breathing properly, you will really be aware of it. So often the first point of connection, which we're going to do in a minute, is to take some deep breaths, to just start working on your ideas, because this is Gemini, mercurial, very fast ideas coming in at this time. But to be a receptor for those ideas, you need to be calm and like the still air that's just in that receiving pattern. High winds are not a receiving pattern. I love them. They're great. I love storms, but it's more like, imagine yourself bringing yourself to that calmness of air so that ideas can come into you and then you can send them out to the right people. Does anybody relate to this being a time of great ideas? I wonder how you're feeling about that, because I mean, after we've all been cocooning and, you know, sitting on our little cooking pots at home, I'm aware that some of the best ideas that are coming out now, it's like been hatching these great eggs sitting on your idea eggs. Oh, Patty, hello, darling, you there? I can't see everybody. I might try a different view. No, hang on. Let's have a look at you. Hey, Patty, nice to see you. Yeah, so, you know, the constriction, the contraction that we've been experiencing in the society and universe is this squeeze of causing us to think, what's the most important right now? What is really important for us to get down to? And this is the moon that you can actually send it out. So it's like no time to waste now. We've had all of this pressure cooker of the year. Anything that is coming to you right now is valid. And remember, this card is about adaptability. So I've noticed that with all the people that are coming to me with ideas, that I'm working with them in partnership and going into joint ventures, we have to adapt to one another. It's not just my way or the highway. It's like this beautiful evolution of two paths coming together and producing something which is much more powerful, by the adaptability and by being willing to listen. That's in the air realm as well. Breathe into it, breathe life into something. And remember also that with the air moon, we arrive on the planet, and the first thing we do is breathe. And then as we leave the planet, the last thing we do is the last breath. First breath, last breath. Yogis believe that we all have a significant number of breaths according to each incarnation. So you don't get unlimited breaths. You get a number of breaths. And so you had better learn to slow your breath down, because you're dealing with the number of breaths that you were given at birth as part of your karma. And when that number of breaths expires, that's when you will disappear into the next realm, right? So it's not like they're unlimited. The idea is that we have a number of breaths that are our gifts for the length of life that we're going to have. And if you want to learn something really deep about breath work and breathing, when I first learned it, I found it bizarre that we were learning to breathe. You know, long time yogi, but when I first stepped into that world, I was like, how can you possibly ask people to learn to breathe? Because we all just breathe. But in the yogi path, we are not just breathing. There's this lack of awareness of breath. And then when we want to come into full power expression, it's taking on the breath and becoming super powerful with our breath. So today's moon being all about communication and breath work, I'd like to start with some breath work and then go quite naturally into wherever we go. As usual, I have no idea, and just see where we're going, and then come back out of that as well. Just want to say hello to a few people because I didn't see you down there. So Janine, Michelle Boss, hello. I'm just having a look down the way to say hello to some friends. I think I've said hello to a lot of you, but if I haven't, it's because you're in a bar and I can't find you. So let's shut the eyes and just allow yourself to really go heavy in your body. Deep, deep, deep connection to your body, which is, then you've got these bellows of lungs that are going to start to inhale and work to alter your perception. And today we're really going to work with, I'm going to ask, as I start to work with my guides, to permission to work with your guides, that we are really able to solidify strong ideas today, because we have had 12 moons of manifestation, and then we've got the gift of the 13th moon this year. Very unusual that we have 13 moons in a year, and the reference is very much to do with divine feminine year symbolism. So we are almost to that final moon. We've got one moon to go from today. So let's just take a deep breath in through the nose and exhale through your mouth. And breathing in this full moon energy, deep breath into your nose and breathing out through the mouth. We've got a full lunar eclipse today. So this is all to do with anything to do with the word re. So reset, review, reenact, reinvent, release. Deep breath in and exhale. And as you start to breathe into every cell of your body. So you're pulling that lunar energy into every cell of your body and allowing it, all those cells, to glow like the moon. So we'll create a light body, which is lunar light body. And as you breathe out, anything that's stuck, bored, indifferent, resentful, breathe it out like black smoke. And breathing in again, breathing into every cell of your body, igniting this lunar light body throughout everywhere that you can feel it. And then also do a body scan and notice where you are not feeling it. And breathing out any areas of resistance through your mouth like black smoke. And breathing in this lunar light into every cell of your body. Breathe into the place where you most feel a constriction. Give it extra breath there and bring in this lunar light. And then as we are going into the ideas space, start to breathe into the womb space. So you could even put your hands or hand on your lower belly, just where your ovaries, womb are. And if there are men listening, lower belly, it's still your creative space too. It's the place where ideas are hatching. And allow that energetic of the lunar to go into these pores, into these cells, these pockets, which we don't normally breathe into. And breathe out any resistance like black smoke. And as you continue to breathe, start to breathe into the back of the heart, opening up these stuck, shut down pockets. And then breathing out anything that is restrictive, constrictive, like black smoke. Breathing into the back of the heart, now opening it up 1,000 times. The experience can sometimes be that you're moving backwards. So when we think of all the energy of going over something again, you return. You might need to go into a pocket of space which needs revisiting. So allow your heart to open in that direction. And breathing out any restrictions like black smoke. And as you continue to work with the heart space, imagine that you are in a cave of the heart, which is now opening up areas in the back area which you've never been into. And we're going to move backwards into the space. Let's move in 1,000,000 times backwards into these pockets of awareness. And as you look around this cave space, you may notice there are some ancient patterns on the walls. You may see hangings or brocades or things which are of a different era, all which are occupying your heart space. And you also see at the center, there's a wind chime hanging from the center of this cave, a beautiful wind chime, which as the wind blows through it, you're hearing these celestial kind of sounds, high frequency, soothing sounds, as we are experiencing the frequency of air and Gemini. And as you look up, you can see through the hole at the top of the cave, you can see the night sky and you can see the moon, the full moon. So as you breathe, start to notice how the wind chime makes beautiful sounds the more breath that you work with. So you're breathing into the back of the lungs, these underused spaces. And as you breathe out, notice the breath is moving these wind chimes, moving them around in a clockwise direction. And you're hearing the sound frequencies which are most associated with your ideas. The ideas that are waiting to land at this time. We start spinning the wind chime faster and faster, using the depth of the breath Still breathing in on this lunar level of breath, bringing lunar energy into every cell of your body. And as you gaze up through this space at the top of the cave, and you observe the full moon shining down, feel what it's like to have the spotlight of the moon on you. Feel how you melt, and there's a softness to it. It's very different energy than the sun. It's got this feminine velvet quality, slightly misty energy. We're starting to move into the unseen. And the more that you look upwards, you notice that the moon is starting to turn black. And you're witnessing the eclipse take place. So gradually, the whole of this bright, shining lunar spaciousness is now being filled up with the shadow, as the shadow moves all the way across the moon. And you're breathing with it, feeling there's something really important happening. As you allow yourself to dissolve into this dark space of the shadow, we find ourselves going back into a time when you were witnessing the heartbeat of your mother. You were a tiny impulse in the womb of your mother. And we can ask some questions about this to remember and reignite, but you can hear the drum of the heart. And it merges with the tinkling of this airy chandelier, which you've been breathing into, which is moving at the exact pace of your breath and playing these celestial tunes to you, reattuning every cell in your body. So we go back to that space in our mother's womb, and you feel the soft velvet connection. Everything is watery. Everything is wet and warm and dark. And there's just the drumbeat of the mother's heart. And we go back into this space to connect with our mothers and ask our mothers, were they happy at that time? So we just will get an answer about that. We're looking at the shadow side of the moon. So allow that question to go forth. Were you happy, Mum? Were you happy? And you feel the energies of a dark collective moving around you, which will give you a sense of being held by a different being than you. And then you can ask yourself, am I happy? As you came into beingness this time, this incarnation, were you a little happy being coming in? Did you feel troubled or shadowy? Were you surrounded by a happy mother? Or were you a happy spark surrounded by a soul who was less happy? When two energies merge, they are not the same. And revisiting and going back to this place where we can hear the drumbeat, going back to what you came into. Many of us chose a troubled mother to be able to accelerate our ideas. So you might ask yourself, was this relationship, which was all chosen, did you choose your mother because she was complicated? Did you choose your mother because she was the same as you? And just breathing in this dark cave space of the eclipse, And then if we moved a little bit further on and we imagine that we've just been born, and we take that first breath in, take your first breath in again. Feeling what it's like to come out of wet, watery, warm into air. It's like a different species. And in this fresh air, with the lungs pumping of a baby, you know you came here to do something. We all came here to do something. So start to connect with this birth breath and feel the essence of what you came here for. It may not be articulated as a word or an idea at this point, but it may be very much a feeling. You can open your mouth and move your jaw around and really breathe into this space. Notice if your throat feels constricted around the time of birth. Notice if you feel happy landing on the planet into the air space, which is very different than the water space. And start to feel the ingredients of the first steps of the idea of who you are. And then we're going to move it all the way to about the age of 12. So now you're taking the breath of a 12-year-old. Locate yourself. Ask yourself, where were you? And now you can ask, were you happy again? Feeling this, now you're fully in life, in your airy container on the planet. Ask yourself, literally, where were you? And how did you feel at that time? Was this a happy time? And tapping into this revisit of the age of 12. Feel the ingredients again as we pick up the thread all the way from the drumbeat of our mother's hearts, all the way from the first breath into the 12-year-old now of who we are. And you just breathe into that space. So take deep breaths into the capacity of the lungs and beyond. You're now breathing into your energetic light body. And this is the knowing where you are so comfortable. It's just you. It's you as a frequency. And feeling that frequency, what is it like? Is it calm? Is it buzzy? And then we're moving all the way forward now, bringing this energy, pulling it like a strand, a thread that we're pulling through time into the present moment. And breathing into the back of the heart, into this 1,000,000 times bigger space than usual. Filling up that space with the frequency of you. So when we feel this now as an adult, and we're in this body on the earth plane, but we can feel the air all around us. And then the air within us as we breathe. Feel your frequency. Ask yourself, are you open to receiving? If the answer is yes, then expand your energy field by 3. Just become 3 times bigger in energy by moving outward like a sphere. So you're breathing into 3 times bigger now. And if you didn't get a yes to I am open to receiving, then focus on the area that is not open to receiving and send extra breath there. Deep breaths 1,000,000 times backwards into pockets, into spaces which we have not yet integrated. I'm feeling the frequency of, yes, I'm now ready to receive, increasing the frequency to 3 times bigger into your sphere. So now you may be as big as the room that you're in. And now we're going to increase it in a different way. We're going to bring in the light speed of Gemini, working from the source of 3 times bigger than self at the frequency of me. I want you to expand in all directions to infinity. So take a deep breath in. Exhale and imagine the borders of the 3 times bigger than me expanding backwards, forwards, below, above, in all directions to infinity. And holding course with the frequency of me, we're now going to invite into this space the ideas that our frequency is meant to work with. So imagine that you have an energy antenna, which now is just receiving, expanded to infinity. You're now able to receive ideas at light speed. They may be coming from this time or this place, or they may be coming from past lives, different dimensions, different time structures, and it doesn't matter. This is the light speed working with Gemini. It's beyond capacity of understanding. Just allow the ideas to flood in now. As if your energy antenna has just said yes. And we allow these ideas to pour into us like we are the container in infinity. Move your head ever so slightly side to side. So you can free up some of that holding pattern. And invite in now collaboration. So we're sending out at light speed an invitation to collaborate the energy of me. And you may feel stretched or bigger than, or pulled on that plane of infinity, which is different than the way we experience daily energy. And now invite the invitation. So you're saying, I am willing to receive collaboration at this time for my ideas. And through this spaciousness, feel like a sparkling dust coming like a cloud formation, like a grouping of when you see birds doing murmuring or insects flying in a cloud, but this is sparkling dust and it's coming into your space, all with these sparkling ideas of collaboration, and you are receiving it. And to receive it, allow it to be breathed into your womb area or lower belly. So you may experience like an effervescent arrival of a new energy. Clear the throat by opening your mouth and moving your jaw around to receive. And know that we are now in communication with the highest level of our beings to now move with the energy of me into an activation. And we now, like an elastic band, are going to take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, imagine it snaps like an elastic band and pulls in that infinity energy all the way into your lower belly womb space. Snaps it in to the size of an egg, a golden egg. You may want to put your hand again on your lower belly to just feel that receiving of something new. And you don't have to know what it is yet. And then to manifest this ingredient, it's like a commitment to self to say, I'm willing now. So say that to yourself, I'm willing now. And we set this up for a 3-day streaming of new ideas flowing in, so that by 3 days from this day, so we're Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so by Thursday, you will have an integration of new ideas and you will do something. And you will maybe not know what the first step is, but you will by Thursday. And we're setting it up like an energetic now. So just receive it like I am willing. And there's no fear in this space, just beauty, connection, frequency of me, and finding yourself back in this beautiful heart cave, now looking up to the space above you where you've seen the eclipse take place. You see the eclipse go the other way so that the light returns gradually over the whole of the moon's surface. And you're standing basking in this beautiful spotlight of moonlight. And in that space, you hear the little chimes of the wind chime that you've been breathing with all the time, that has been moving clockwise around. And the chimes of this moon chime bringing you back through sound into your body, into your breath, experiencing this deep healing of remembering. So now starting to rub your palms together, rub them hard to generate heat, and then placing them over your closed eyes. Breathe in and exhale through the mouth. And another one of those. Rub, 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 rub. Place them over your closed eyes. Breathe in and exhale. And then one more of those. Really generate heat. Place them over your closed eyes. Breathe in and exhale. You can rub your forehead, your back of the neck, front of the throat, jaw, and just allow yourself to gradually come back into the room, feeling quite healed from that connection to all the way back where we chose to come in. Just coming back in, being quite gentle with yourself. So welcome back. Remembering is sometimes quite a journey. Especially if we didn't have willing hosts. They're always willing at some level, but they may not have fully known that. So does anybody want to share anything about what was it like for you? Yeah, go for it. Christine, go for it. I can see you. I can't see everybody.
Yeah.
So
can you hear me now, Sally?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. That was fabulous, wonderful. It was a beautiful meditation. I won't give you everything because it'll take me forever. What I did really focus on for a start off was symbols before you even mention them, circular symbols and the glitches which you see on the inside of caves and on the outside of the caves, the Hopi sort of symbols. But when I got taken, I didn't just stop in the house or in the space. I just went straight out there. Basically, when you said ×3, I went for it out into the galactic realms. And what I was doing was, before in the past, I've just noticed lines and symbols with dots on the ends, and what was happening with they were all being joined together, which was very symbolic. So it was like a grid with different shapes and different lines and different dots, but it felt like it was all coming together, which I've never seen before. And towards the end, I just got a vision of the light, somebody with focusing the light from their eyes through to me. I took all the gold particles down into my abdomen, the hara, stomach area. It was just so powerful. It was wonderful. It just gave that oneness, togetherness.
Yes.
And yes, the ideas have been coming through this last week, very much
right.
so. So I'm sure I'll be able to put it all together now. So thank you very much for that.
Oh, pleasure. It's always so nice going on these journeys where I have no idea where we're going. And thank you, Jimena, and thank you, Laura, and thank you, Patty. It may be that you need to zip off. Yes. Anybody else like to share anything about what they got? I noticed that Jimena was saying she's working on her website and she created a meditation as a free gift and it came out so easily and fast. Great. So yeah, this is high speed. Anybody else would like to say anything? I'm zooming through to see if I can see you. Sylvia.
Okay. Hi. I saw the chime was a dream catcher actually, and when I looked up, I became a wolf. She, yeah, no, looking up to the moon. And,
Ooh.
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, I know. And the meditation with baby in the womb, uh, I had to start crying. My mom was very sad, well, she was a teenage mom, no one, yeah, scared. And for me, this coming out was into a very bright light, and I felt happy, like free, that, that was really, and everything ended then. I was standing on a balcony in a townhouse. Well, actually, I had the townhouse, and on one side, my daughter stand. I was in the middle, and the other one was my grandma.
Mm.
And I remembered that was, I think, in 1999 when we really had this something going on with the moon. There was an eclipse, I think, in Germany. So, yeah, that was yeah.
Grandma popped in, so did a wolf.
Pumped in again, so probably I'm now on the left. We have to switch places.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're the grandmother now. I
yeah.
think, when we deeply connect to, we are not our mothers,
Mhm,
but we are housed in our mothers. We
mhm,
come in like it's a house for some time. And
mhm,
we could very much thank our mothers because it's all. So you might want to send a little message to your mother after this. Anybody who feels that, even if they weren't the most caring, loving mothers,
mhm.
they were still the house. And we made that agreement before we got here that they would be our mothers, sometimes because they were accelerators, for you to learn something. Um, and it's a tough one, that, but to just revisit, you are not your mother. You are this little spark which has got its own energy, which was coming in and already had all its ideas and things to do. And sometimes it's being contained by a very content, happy house. And sometimes the house is not. It's the house is unstable or nervous or whatever. But you are not. You are this spark coming in. You are this energy. And to thread that through to what we're doing now, which is we're inviting in collaboration at the highest level now. So it's we have to be comfortable with the remembering too. Laura's just saying rebirth, sacred bat flew to you. I love it, all these really shadowy images like wolves and bats. It's great. From the darkness of the cave, womb-like reflections, answers it gave, birth, death, rebirth, cycles of the whole, never-ending, just eclipsed, the journey of the soul. Again, so much love. Thank you, Laura. That was just wonderful. And these will now ruminate because we set it on rumination. So it will be doing its thing for 3 days, which is the witchy way of looking at any activation. You work with or wise women worked with the 3-day cycles of a period. When you activate something, it needs that to do its thing. And then you often have an answer that you didn't expect in that time. So we've set it up for that. And one more trip around the moon will take us to the end of this year and into the Aquarian age and into new Earth, which is just extraordinary, really. So, you know, we're through some of the worst of the difficulty of the birthing right now, right? In that time of moving towards a golden era, we are through some of the difficulty, but it's, you know, I'm going to tell you a story just so you get some of this stuff. A wonderful woman who connected with me a few years back, and we were sort of back and forth because she wanted to talk to me about spirituality and, you know, cards and things like that. I just found out her eldest son was stabbed in the heart at age 27, and he's died. And it's part of the knife crime culture, a young Black guy. That is the shadow. And when I found out that not only that he died, which was heartbreaking last week, but that the symbolism, like being stabbed in the heart, and this heart opening, and then he's 27, which is the Saturn return. That's all those musicians who go out as a young life, you know, those sparks, that the flames that are so bright, but they don't live long. But he lived his full Saturn cycle through. And then you see all these, some of the tragedies that are going on. This is part of that period of birthing in new things. Old things have got to go. And when I heard about this and I contacted her, I said, I have no doubt that you're going to be one of the healers for mothers who are dealing with knife crime. Like it's just gotta be, you know, and it's such a tough entry, you know. I feel like really emotional, but that will be her healing. And I also did a ritual last night on the full moon. I was connecting in with them, and I really felt, even his energy, that he had a full completion, if you know what I mean. Like he was fully complete in that experience. He'll be a catalyst for massive, massive healing, and his mother will be part of that too. And so some of the tough things that we're looking at, yeah, we just need to keep shining that light, keep moving through it, don't get stuck on it, like all the resentment. We've got to move into a different way of doing things and being. And so it takes you to be the ones, right? And just like my whole focus is New Earth leadership. And I said to her, when you're ready, I will do anything to help you get that message out. Anything, like, you know, when you're ready, because you will need to grieve. But you guys, you have no excuse. And I mean that in a sort of like, it's time. We need to remove some of the old shit, like super fast. And if you're the ones, well, you know, get your ideas out there, get the collaborations in there. If you need any help and I can help you, of course, contact me. I'm on that path. But what I will do is I'm going to send you this link for the winter solstice so that we can all connect on that. It'll be so much fun. And because you will have access to many people who are giving their offering, if you like, to help with the new earth. And so it's just like an experience that you can be there for those 2 days and just absorb, you know, just absorb new ideas. So I will say goodbye and sending you so much love for this final lunar trip. And I'll see you on the 13th moon next month. Love, love, love to everybody. Yeah, and Isabel's saying that you're feeling tingling on the chakra at the back of your head. Yeah, well, we shifted some stuff there. We definitely did. So have a beautiful evening. Look at the moon and see you next time. Namaste. So much love.